we talked, thank you. We talked about Easter last Saturday, not as a religious event, not as a traditional understanding, but as a human understanding, as really the truth of suffering and the reality of suffering in our everyday lives. And then Bill Paxton, a friend of mine, sent me this poem, and I went, oh, okay. We all know the truth of this. We know the reality, don't we, of suffering. And we also know and are practicing, and we're going to be practicing today deeply, the reality of its end. There is not only the truth of suffering in this life, there is practices, teachings, capacities within each of us towards the end of suffering. And then there are a few essential basic practices that we're going to be talking about today that say, as we incline the mind with consistency, with repetition, with wholeheartedness, with beginning again, with non judgment, with curiosity, we could go on endlessly, can't we? All of these right attitudes, we will, in fact, be cultivating the path to the end of suffering, number one. And then number two, are certain to reduce it. It's certain. Then we know with Rupert Sheldrake, who I finally just become a Substack, I'm under his subscription list now, so I get to listen to his wisdom as a biologist extraordinaire every day. We know through his research and others that it says if you incline the mind once, you are twice as likely to incline it again. And if you incline it twice, you are now 4 times, and 4 to 8, and 8 to 16, and on, right? And this is encouraging, isn't it? Because we can now determine the path to the end of suffering by the very inclination of mind, simply. And then we're going to talk today about, well, it isn't quite enough, because though it establishes a certain neural circuitry, it does not grow bravery, courage, hope sufficiently in you. You will need then, with the right inclination of mind, and we know this, to think right first, then speak, then act in accord. And this is the whole of the Noble Eightfold Path. The path says right view counts, right intention helpful, right, but not sufficient. You are not done. It requires action. It requires efforts. It requires discipline. It requires, right, towards this. And then we go, ugh. I've been talking with a lot of people this week about fear of the failure of our democracy, right? Fear of loss of relationships, friendships, and family because of polarized view, uh, fears around incomes as businesses are failing, right? We're doing a lot of, can we be okay? Or are we just going to go to hell in a handbasket? And what do I say? I am assured, I can assure you, we can be and will be okay. I'm certain. Why? Because I'm hanging out with a group of people, and then everyone I talk to, and then everyone you talk to says, I just want to get along. I just want to find a way together. I just want to, right? And so there is a possibility and capacity, even when there is different view. The view alone is not the problem. How we hold the views together then will be part of our solution, I hope. So we talked about, let me go back and we talked about the crucifixion as an everyday event. And then if I asked you, what is your most recent crucifixion? You could tell me, couldn't you? The fear about this, the anger about that, the frustration at this, the partner who rolls their eyes one more time, the right lamb that is raw or burns, and the right. We have endless um, right. I wanted it to go this way, and it went that way. I wanted it to work out my way, and it went another way, right? So we could talk endlessly. And so in the book we're reading, Smile at Fear, it says there is no path to fearlessness, to bravery, or we could call it then to wise hope. Wise hope. Wise hope. Couldn't we? If we're committed to turning towards it, if we're willing to step into the path of fear, if we're willing to feel it, to know it intimately, to not only know it for oneself then, but as we did last Saturday, we breathed it in, didn't we? Not just for ourselves, but for others. And then how could we fail? How could we? Because where then we know this, love abides. The truth is, love will always win out. And I don't know when it will be. I don't know how it will look, right? This would be a magical and unrealistic, but I do know it has happened throughout time and that it will continue. And that I think, in fact, the truth is we're getting wiser. How do I know? Well, these beautiful teachings by themselves have made it across a world. And then the teachings we have around bravery and love and care and hope have made it around the world as well. And so here we are to be practicing that today. I'm going to take a back step in our practice today because what we did a little of uh, last um, week was remember to nurture, to regard, to stay close to oneself, just a very little. And really, in our daily practice, we have to do it more. We have to actually do it, says Rupert Sheldrake. If we hope to do it for others, we have to do it for ourselves then every day. And that's why you have that paper in front of you that I'll share with the group soon called Daily Practices. What is then the commitment every single day? Growing stronger and stronger. And we'll take a look at that. But I just wanted to read some of this. I don't know if I'll read it all, but I think if any of you got it, you got the idea, right? But I'll just start with a couple lines here. This is called The Humanist Speaks of Easter. I don't believe that the crucifixion is a story with a happy ending or that it was a one-time event. It happens over and over as the human journey unfolds. It happens to us and to the people we love. It happens to the righteous and the innocent. Crucifixion happens, and it feels like the end of the world every time. It feels like nothing could matter anymore, ever. And then, inevitably and miraculously, something happens next. Something happens. Of course it does, because the world hasn't ended yet. It's not always an empty tomb. How trite would that become? Mostly, the beloved bodies just lie right there, peacefully decomposing. But something happens, and whether we want it to or not, a new chapter begins. Maybe the sun comes up or the lilies do, Spring rolls around, that happens. Or memories come, or someone needs you. You eat food, that happens. You walk down the road and share a recollection. Life happens, keeps happening. The dead don't rise, but we do. One day it happens. You take a breath and it doesn't hurt to breathe. You start to see people again, really see them. Hope rises, community rises, you rise, we rise, life rises. Not because death isn't real. Crucifixion is not just pretend, but something else is just as real, maybe even more real. Something happens next. That is the other thing we know for sure. Life rises, outrage rises, love rises, faith rises, tears rise, hope rises. This I do believe. I decided to read it all because I could feel the truth expanding in us all. We rise. Now, of course, we've heard many political poems such as this. Maya Angelou, beautiful poem. And this is the wise hope, then. Not hope in it going our way, right? Not hope in some other moment. This is frivolous, but hope in our capacities as human beings to love, to care for each other, to empathize, to hold compassion. Look at the capacity right there. How fortunate and blessed are we in this lifetime to have that capacity built right in, to not only feel for oneself, as we're going to do today, but to then expand that perspective to know the other and then to know them by heart, right? And in this, we can all have wise hope. Yeah. All right. So today we're going to be working on a loving kindness practice. Again, we touched on it last week. We're going to commit ourselves again to this practice. And what I said last week was Tong Len, this taking and sending, is often for me, I have to say, best done on the spot. Best done when I confront a moment of difficulty, either my own or another's. By the way, I mostly begin with my own. Why? I can feel it completely, intimately. I know it by body, by heart, and by mind. And then I know the truth. And the truth being, we all know this. We all feel this, right? And then when we are capable, not before, when we are capable, we can begin to breathe, not only for us, but for others, right? But we're going to start with ourselves again today. I'm going to just take a look. Don't we create our own crucifixion? Yes, we do. If we define, then, I think this is Mike, if we define crucifixion as suffering, Mike, it is certain. If we decide that crucifixion is also the truth of our daily pains, of the losses, of the grief, of the loss of love or loved one, or then I think we would say no, that this is just simply a part of being human. And so we keep that distinction in mind. Why? So that we don't go then into judgments. We don't go into criticisms. We don't buy into the failure that if I am hurting, I am somehow failed. And it's a little bit tempting in a warrior culture, isn't it? It's a little bit tempting to go, if you are pained, you are failed. So much so that we have now pretty much decided that if you have disease, you simply fucked up. It's your fault because you didn't get to the gym enough, or you didn't eat kale enough, or you didn't something enough, so that it is your fault, right? And so we are tender here, aren't we? Because the work is too easy, I think, is to mistake pain for suffering and then blame, isn't it? To go, well, you got yourself up there. I didn't tie you to the cross. I'm not the one that, right, puts you in the addictive, right? So easy. And then what do we do there? Separate, don't we? We go, your problem. I don't know. I don't know how you got there. I don't know what you did to get that crazy, right? Which is what I say every day about my mom, right? I don't know. Uh, right? I don't know what you did. That's nuts. But there, right? But we can't live there because what does it do? Then I don't have to care for you. I don't have to open to your pain or your fear, which is where I know that comes from. Completely fear. That's how she walked away in the story I told last Saturday. She was able to literally turn away and go the other direction, not because she didn't care about the woman who had come up to us, but because she was terrified. Why? She doesn't have a relationship to anyone who is a different color and hasn't in 89 years. They're alien, they're foreign. And then we move easily into they shouldn't be here, right? And then we call them what? Immigrants. And we call them aliens, don't we? So, right. But can we know our own fear and pain enough to know what that is? Right? We can, can't we? We can sit with our own distress. We can cultivate what's now called psychological flexibility, new definition for mental health, right? Psychological flexibility and tolerance. I can stay with myself in this distress. And if I can, there's a better chance I will be able to be of benefit to you and then be with you, truly be with you in that moment where you're turning the other way. Thank you, Mike. Right consideration. And so I'm going to make sure that I turn on my original sound for musicians. Yes, Denise. Denise Kinsley got us to the bell. It's just amazing. I thought it was on last week. I wasn't that smart. Ever growing, changing. Here we go. So we're going to establish ourselves for the practice. And finding a sustainable, supported, connected posture. Feel the sense of the body in contact with the earth, however you are sitting. And know that life itself, Mother Earth herself, does not abandon us. And then calling to mind just simply the good all around you. Here we are making contact with the sound of the birds, the cool of the morning, the breath of the friend next to us, the uprightness of our own bodies, and we smile infinitely, infinitely blessed. And then gently, we bow the head. And we set the aspiration that all beings, everywhere without exception, feel this, know this too. Then taking a moment to feel the body in contact with not only the earth, not only the felt sense of stability or rootedness, something we count on so uh, regularly, we forget all about it. And then we're just going to make contact. We're going to stay wide, deep, open, big like the sky for a moment, and just make contact with whatever the sense doors invite. I'm hearing a woodpecker, the high tweet of the finches, the mourning dove. And we just rest the body back a bit so that it can begin to open into the preciousness of this present moment. Sitting here, resting, a part of the whole. Knowing the body as the body, we abide joyfully, even when we're recovering. The amazing capacity of this body to heal. We abide sound as sound. Opening to the possibility for deep listening beyond thinking. And then we let the beauty and the sacredness of this world, wherever we are, ignite our open hearts. And we gently smile at all the goodness all around. And in our first practice, we're simply going to breathe in that goodness. Breathe it directly into the body, into the lungs, into the heart space. Recognizing its gift. And then on the out breath, just distributing it throughout the whole of the body. This basic goodness around us, that basic goodness within us, the same. And as we breathe it out, distributing, marinating, immersing in this goodness that is us and all around us, we remember the capacity of this awakened heart mind. Its goodness. Its ever present, all abiding, always available reality. It is everywhere, always, and simply needs you and your mind to incline towards it. And then you might begin to notice that you don't have to move the mind to make contact with it. There is no going left or going right, going up or going down required at all. There is simply resting back in that vast, open, sky-like quality of heart mind, of which you are capable. And then we move a little bit closer to the breath itself, rising and passing within this vast, open, sky-like quality of awakened heart mind. As we breathe in goodness, we recollect our own, remembering a moment of ease, of kindness, of calm, of non reactivity, non judgment, or maybe the wisdom of seeing uh, the moments when we are not that, which are just as precious. Recognizing a moment of fear, a moment of reactivity, and we smile at it all. May we have ease and well being. May we remember our capacity for awakening, just this moment. May we smile at the infinite opportunities offered to us again and again to open, to care, to be still. Just this simple breathing in and breathing out. And then we breathe in, knowing the in breath as the in breath. And we breathe out, knowing the out breath as the out breath. And in this simple awareness, we see the true nature of all things. This is the beginning of our bravery practice. We let the in breath come and we let the in breath go, clinging to nothing. And then we open to sounds. And we let the sounds come in, be known, and we let them go. And then we take thoughts, thoughts about sounds, thoughts about the practice, thoughts about the day, thoughts about the self. And we see their identical nature. Nothing solid, nothing fixed. And we let these thoughts, simply arise, present, change, and go. Not me, not mine, not ours. Simply thoughts. And here we are not only abiding the breath or sounds or thoughts, we are actually practicing right view, seeing clearly the truth that there is no solid, fixed, permanent, personal reality at all. Not in the sound, not in the body, not in the thinking, and not in your identity. Mere appearance. And with each out breath, we simply let it go. And then we begin to notice, I wonder if you can, that in this very letting go, there is more room, more space, more freedom for love. Connected more intimately, more deeply, more joyfully with everything. And as we abide in that love, in that open space, we can, in our remembering who we really are, we can turn then towards the difficult. A moment of anger, a moment of impatience, of judgment, of righteousness. We can actually call it to mind. And we can then feel the very contractedness, the tightening, the grip, maybe a sense of separation, a sense of shame, of guilt, of disappointment, and we can yet abide it all, simply allowing it, just like that sound, to arise and be known, to feel its sensations, to know its storyline. If only, why not, how come, you should, they should, whatever the speech, knowing the short view, the limited view, we smile once again. And as we breathe out, we let it go. And the greatest act of kindness is already occurring here as we commit ourselves again and again to the staying, to staying with, to staying in our own hearts, our own bodies, offering this vast, open, loving space. Holding it tenderly, lightly, letting it come and letting it go. We can extend to ourselves the same spaciousness, the same stillness, the same kindness, the same loving presence as we have offered this sacred world of which we are a part. In the Mahayana tradition, there are no repetitive phrases that comes out of the Vipassana Theravada school. This is simply being love. And the beingness is the continuing opening. We open to the tight spot. We open to the grip, to the queasy tenderness, says Trungpa, of being alive. That this continuing and infinite act of love is fearlessness itself. The very willingness to turn towards again and again. Radical, radical bravery, which equals radical, radical love and compassion. And then we remember that they are one and the same, no distinctions. Loving kindness, compassion, radical acts of bravery. And then notice what happens as you turn towards the sensation, the harsh thought, the confusion, and simply abide, open, and breathe with. And then we can expand this loving presence, this open heartedness, this awakening heart mind even further to not only feel for oneself, to regard oneself, to know and love oneself in our difficulties, but to include others. And in doing so, we simply add, and may those others who feel this just like me, who know this grief, this confusion, this pain, may they be free from this affliction also. And we begin wherever we are. Maybe I can first open to include a friend, a loved one, someone I know and care about, and then see where the limits of your own mind. It's temporary, it's not fixed or real, just a matter of concepts, of thoughts, self and other, them and us, me and you, all delusions. And then we can open a little further. To include the difficult one, the angry one, the other one, both in ourselves and then in others. Every moment of opening I make contact with, I know is not only mine, but the whole of this human capacity. Not every moment of tightness, of contractedness I experience, I can know the truth of the transient nature of fear. And we can immediately, upon making its contact, train ourselves to simply open, move towards, offer ourselves in love. And as I practice opening to the contractions, to the harsh thoughts, to the closed heartedness in me, I can open to you. You, just like me, want to be happy. And then for the last moments, we're going to let go of all thising or thating, coming and going, fear or fearlessness, to rest back in the open space, in the vast heart, in the abiding love and compassion, in which it all comes and goes. All peace, all ease, all happiness, all joy, all calm, all connection, all love, right here. And may this practice be of benefit. So for those of you who come from Theravada tradition, for example, you may be used to the recitation of phrases. We do that practice and love that practice. This one is slightly different. So there is more about a felt sense and a quality of mind that does not include languaging to the same extent. And so then, what do you know about fear and fearlessness?
I have a poignant and real-time example to share. As many of you may have noticed, I arrived with a preteen daughter, and she's no longer here. And so, right before the meditation, she comes up and goes, "Daddy, can I walk down to me my granddaddy's house?" You know, like her grandparents who are really right down the block, you know. And but cross Saxony, right? And I just feel this like, fuck. And I'm like, I know I have to say yes, because I want to raise a free being. Because I want to raise a free being, and you know, I explored this neighborhood like, you know, back front and center when I was her age, and we're living within this paradigm of fear, in which kids don't play in the street anymore. And so I go through this whole process within, you know, seconds. And I just go, yeah, like, let go, you know. Text me when you get there, you know. And so for the first, you know, 15 minutes of that meditation, I'm just sitting here and like all the scenarios, all the things, all the contraction, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, with your invitation to open up and let go and, you know, let in. I'm sitting, what is this, lemon verbena?
Yes.
I'm sitting next to this lemon verbena plant and I'm just being like bathed in this perfume. And, you know, I'm hearing the birds. I'm like, dude, like, it's all fine.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, this is all fear.
Yeah.
And I let go, and sure enough, the text comes through, and you know, it's just how we put ourselves in hell.
Yes.
Just unnecessarily.
How we crucify ourselves.
Yes.
I don't know if everybody could hear Anthony, but his daughter was here, and she asked, of course she did, to get out of here quickly and to go down to Grandma and Grandpa's house down the block, where Anthony is practicing letting open, right? And talking then about the very clear distinction between the contractedness of a fear-laden heart that can still be held, even in its contractedness, he was saying, can still be held in the vast openness of space and the beauty of this natural world, with like fear too, like a bird song, really then, like the perfume of the verbena, right? Just one more arising and passing without buying in, you know, to me, the fearing dad, the, you know, weak or failed individual somehow, that we don't grip in it that much. We create more and more space for it. And so that was just a beautiful and lovely example. And then, can we know that fearlessness may simply be this love? Because it does require it, doesn't it? We don't often have that idea about love, right? Because love for us is often possession, control, it going my way, right? And in fact, this is antithetical to the truth about love as a continuous opening, isn't it? And opening to what? Well, everything, including fear, including crazy, including disappointed, including not liking, including the other, uh, who we have now created, who we have created then by those othering thoughts. And can we be open? And the first opening is not to the other. This is the mistake. I should be able to then open to the other. No, I should first be able to open to my othering. This is the path to see its delusional nature, to see that they too, right, have a right and a privilege and a seat on this sacred earth. They do, don't they? How do we know? They're here. That's how we know. And then how do we honor that?
Oops.
Oops. How do we honor that? And again, we've got some practices we'll talk about in a moment. But because we are living in an appearedly divided, right, time, appearances being, right, this thought, that thought, we have a real opportunity, I think, for on the spot, on the ground practice of opening right in the middle of the grip, said Anthony, right in the middle of the, I don't think I can, right, do this, open in this way. And then what's interesting, I noticed for myself, is I've been noticing that I can open to my not opening. That has been a really lovely opportunity for me to go, no, contracted just like this, refusing just like this, feeling somewhat righteous just like this, and that I can stay with myself in that as well, which is another radical act of love, isn't it? See, there's nowhere else to go but where we already are. And then we just open there. Without hatred, without condemnation, without othering us. This. And then, well, it would be less likely to do to the neighbor, to the one on the other side of the ideological fence that, of course, we have constructed.
The prerequisite to love is stepping through the fear, and before we step through the fear, we're holding the love captive.
That's right.
Like this was the experience here, and it's also the experience when you're holding captive that which you don't like about yourself.
That's right.
And yet, if we can step through the fear, like the wall that's keeping that distrust, dislike, anger about ourselves,
right,
then it's free to do whatever it wants.
That's right.
Usually,
what happened? Did anybody, Anthony's saying it so beautifully. I'm sorry, others can't quite hear. He's saying when we fully open, even to that thing in us, that fear in us, that othering in us, that anger in us, that criticism, that judgment, whatever's the grief, whatever is there, we actually climb the wall of all othering, of all separation, of all disconnect, for everyone. Actually, everyone benefits because how your countenance is now essentially altered. You are simply open, and it is well, captivating. And also, frequently, I have noticed silent. It does not require, spotlights and framing and languaging or look at me's or bronze plaques or at all. So I'm going to read. I have been allowing some grace in that my body is uncomfortable and bloated, and I'm finding it tough to sit and focus for the full meditations lately. And I'm allowing myself grace. Yes, that's a lovely word for that, love. It sets a positive stage for me instead of bashing and shame, doesn't it? Because then you can sit with whatever's there. That is the meditation. And then we let go of all these ideas about I should have been like this, or I should have been still, or I shouldn't have been scratching my nose, or right, as simply folly, right? It's just folly. Like, oh, I thought the meditation should look like that. I thought I should be still like this. I thought I should be comfortable. I thought I should have to, this is a common mistake in our practice, endure, right?
Ty said something today.
Jim's talking. I want to make sure. Speak up a little bit, Jim.
He said, I'm paraphrasing him, that you needn't wait to the end of suffering to be joyful. So Ty continues to amaze me.
Isn't it true? Jim was saying a quote by Ty, which is very well known, which is, you needn't wait to the end of suffering to be joyful, because there is no this or that at all. There is all of it always, always abiding, always available. And then we smile at it, which is why Trungpa wrote Smile at Fear. He said, even in the midst of the grip, in our recognition is our liberation, and we can smile joyfully with it, different than at it, right? With it. We smile with it, but not at it, because that becomes, doesn't it, condemning. That becomes othering, that becomes separation from that. I had somebody else on. Mike, was that you?
Yes. So working with the breath and pneumonia at the same time, um, the in breath is nice until it gets to the end, and then there's extreme amount of pain, and then the out breath is totally relaxing, relieves everything. So I have a choice. I can breathe in until it starts to hurt a little bit, and then I can stop. The problem with that, my oxygen levels go down. I
Yes,
get lightheaded and pass out.
yes.
Not helpful.
Not so useful. No.
So it's been interesting to, really, sit with that level of
Yeah.
discomfort, recognizing that that's just what the body is doing.
Yes.
It's not my fault. It's not the body's fault. It's
That's
just
right.
just the way it is. And if I ignore that,
Yes.
there's a price to be paid.
That's right. There are real consequences. Well, this is like preparing for death, Mike.
Been doing that.
Yeah. I bet you have, because there you are, right? The
There
breathing,
we all are.
you can't get the breath, and then
Yeah.
you can't get all of it, and then you can barely get any of it, and then you can't get any of it.
And yet,
And yet, something abiding, all of it.
yeah.
And then, as we understand from our Bardo practice, something abiding beyond the end of it.
Yeah.
And we know because we've practiced, right? At the
Right.
end of the out breath is not the end.
Well, and the end of the in breath with the pain is not the end either.
It is not. That's completely, what a lovely practice there, Mike. Wow. I'm so glad you were here today to both practice with that and to share that, because often I notice for myself, less and less, of course, um, but for myself, the confronting the unpleasant, we can quickly abandon the practice, can't we? So quickly, like running right into, forget about the breath, shame, right? Running right into obsessive thoughts, running right into murderous thoughts, running right into righteousness, like out of here, get me out of here. And Felicia's saying the other side, which is, and then there is the moment where we do get to adjust out of true radical love and compassion for ourselves, because I can no longer be with this, because I'm at the limit and I will drown. And I don't have to blame, shame, judge, or condemn that either. I can simply say, well, wait a minute, expand the practice rather than abandon the practice. And I notice this is a very big change, is to expand the practice. Go sit in the garden then, right? Go sit in the garden and count the colors. Let this be your practice. If you can't be with the breath, if you can't be in bloat, right? If you can't tolerate in this moment that fear, can you just simply know that? And then one more breath, one half a breath, and then say, what can I offer myself so that I can stay with myself? And maybe not with the end of the out in breath right there, right? Because in fact, there are limits, isn't there? If you put a candle under my hand, I'd be going, I'm fine. I can be with this. I can be with this. I can be with this. I'm having a little hard time being with this. And can I be with this maybe a breath? Maybe not. And then what? Without reactivity, but with care, with regard, with fearlessness. Not from fear, but fearlessness. Then we call that heroic action, don't we? We go, no, we're not going to keep it like that because that's not okay. There's no need for that level of suffering. We can then. This is the reason now everything I'm reading says, don't just think about it. It won't be enough. What is the action? And it may simply be beginning with being kind to your bloat. It may not be a large political statement, but it is the same training, isn't it? Be kind to that. Be kind to the end of the in-breath that's difficult. Be kind to the obsessive thought. Be kind to it. What does it mean? Opening and opening and opening still. Right? And then we can open to the mother who turns away from a person of a different color because she doesn't know how yet to be with herself, isn't it? Herself in that fear. Oh. And then we understand something, don't we? We're almost done. So I want to take a quick moment to look at, and I'm going to see, I don't know if I can pull this up for you guys. Maybe I can. Let's see. I have then a list of practices for this week. Yes, now I'm going to start writing them down and handing them to you for you to remember. And by the way, I know it'll matter. I absolutely 100% know it'll matter. Why? You've got it in hand. You've got it now in heart. You've got it in the eye. You've got it every day, right? Like, I'm going to stop just saying this. I'm handing out sheets of paper for the practice because we're going to stay in. Here's what it says. Daily bravery and kindness practice. Everyone here will get this also. The first work, always the first work. Right view, followed immediately by right intention. In the morning, close your eyes, take a breath, and say silently, today, I choose to greet or meet fear with tenderness and courage. Today, I am choosing to greet fear with open-heartedness. You find your phrase, but you must make it. You must make it. If you do not call it up, you cannot circuit it all day. Number 2, fear touch points. We've already done this. Whenever you feel fear or discomfort during the day, pause rather than distract. Drop into the body experience and the breath. Name the sensations or the emotions gently. Fear is here as the emotion. Tightness, burning, grip, tension, nausea, queasy, right? Grip, whatever the words are. Place your hand on your heart. or your belly, anywhere in the vagal system, we know matters. Breathe into the sensation without trying to fix or push it away. Fear is a door, not a wall. Oh, fear is a door. It is a part of the path. It is not a failure. It is the door to the moment you're in. Your opening to fear is fearlessness. And what did I say? Radical act of love. Because we cannot bear it in ourselves and we cannot bear it in others. 3, Mini Tonglen. Think of someone else who might be feeling just like this right now. This tightness, this grip, this queasy tenderness. On an inhale, breathe in not only your own fear, but breathe in theirs, imagining it like a dark smoke or a cloud. On an exhale, breathe out calm, light, healing, kindness toward them and you. You can whisper gently, may we be safe, may we be free from fear. This is a beautiful on-the-spot practice. This is where I think Tonglen has its real benefit, because we are going to feel these moments of contractedness. And then 4, our evening reflection. Ask yourself, where did I show even a small moment of bravery, of courage, of love today? Where was it in evidence? Because it is. Where did I open instead of shutting down? Where can I offer myself or others more kindness, more ease, more peace? Not only tomorrow, but where? Right now, just in the reflection, right now. With the ending offering, I honored the bravery in myself and then in all beings. I honor this capacity in myself and in all beings. Where would be the limit of that? There would be no limit, would there? Where can I breathe in the goodness of others? And then remember, this is the goodness of all beings. Where can I breathe in the difficulty of others? And remember, this is the difficulty of all beings. And then there would be no other at all. Yes? I will send this out to all of you. I'm going to take a picture because I don't know how to do a screenshot. Where's Anthony? Do you? See, I need a millennial.
Oh, a screenshot?
Yeah, I need somebody who's at least 30 years younger than me.
Let's see if I can remember
These
this one.
generational dilemmas, you know.
Yeah. Control Shift 4. That's right. Yeah.
Control Shift 4, folks.
Oh yeah, and then you get to do the let's see. Oh yeah, see now you have your little guy, and then you can like expand.
I got a
it.
little guy.
You can expand it to whatever.
Oh my
you
God,
wanna,
there's that
so
little
like,
guy.
whoop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see.
Oh,
So,
this is Control Shift 4.
Yeah.
You get the little guy. Oh,
Yeah.
and it took it.
And if you want to do, I think Control Shift 3 just does the entire screen.
Oh, see, I just learned something. That's awesome. That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so for all of those who are 60 or older, Control Shift 4, Control Shift 3. Oh God, I love this so much.
An important teaching.
Oh my God. Anthony, next week will be leading Sangha to talk about all the technologies that you could use on the path to love and fearlessness. I'm joking. He looked at me like, what am I doing? Although I do think it's a wonderful idea. Yes. Oh my God, that's so exciting to me. Just the berries.
the Apple classes are one thing that I've just done. Just go to them, and every time I walk away from the Apple class, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been using like this much of this.
It's
Such
unbelievable.
great-
Apple classes was just a
Go,
slight
sign
recommendation.
up for any of them.
I just like Sangha where somebody younger than 50 can show up and give us all. And I'm looking at Megan there too. It's like, okay, we got you signed up for opportunities as well. We're going to now recite the Bodhisattva prayer. Prayer meaning commitment, endeavor, vow, possibility. We don't contract around the prayer, and we are not offering that to an entity, a being. Well, let me take that back. We're offering it to everything, not just one theistic other. That may include for you God, Jesus, Mohammed, Kuan Yin, the Buddha, all the awakened ones, all the holy ones, with no problem. But really, these are understood to be instructions. Instructions for our way of living. And so you may bring your hands together if it's comfortable for you with a gentle bow of the head. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we rejoice, take delight, and be glad at our good fortune, and offer and wish this good fortune for all beings. May we rest and dwell in this vast, open, and infinite heart, freed from greed, freed from anger, and freed from ignorance, until all beings are awakened, happy, and free. May our practice today contribute. May we dedicate the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice to all beings everywhere, letting it move in all directions, finding opportunities in each moment throughout the day to offer benefit and well-being with our very breath, with our very open heart, with our very fearlessness. May it be so this very day through you. And may it continue. So be it. Blessings to you all, and thank you all so much for your practice, your commitment to the good in all of its infinite forms. It's good to see you all. Rich, good to see you. I didn't know you were there till now. How lovely to see you this morning from England. We have Leslie there from Israel. Thank you all. This is, we need each other. We need each other. Thank you all so much. May you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Make it so.
Thank you, Diana, again, always. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. I'm going to send those short instructions to all of you because now I have all of your names. So I'm counting on you to follow those simple instructions for this week. I'll look forward to seeing you all next Saturday. Be well, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You're so
Bye.
welcome, Dan. Good to see you.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.